Roman?
I think so.
What letter is this?
Q.
Q. This is indeed a Q.
Fronted.
All right, welcome to the Patriot Hour. Welcome to the Patriot Hour. I'm Michael, your host for 7/19/2018. It is Thursday evening. We got a few things to go over here. A few things I wanted to share with you guys. Again, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, like, share. Maybe after the video, leave a comment. Look in the comment section. Great things happen down there. Great discussions, leading people out into great areas of research. All right, so we're going to get into a article. Again, some of this, this is by Neon Revolt. Some of this needs to be rebased, retouched. So here's an article, Trump and JFK Jr., QAnon, The Great Awakening, April 8th of 2018. It's a few months back. We attempted to follow operations last night and dipped into following some planes. Didn't turn up much, that we understand, but Q had this to say about it. So April 8th, 2018 at 10:29. Putin is Russia's president. His job is to look after the Russians' people. Put yourself in his shoes. He wants to win. Why not take advantage of his enemies? Trump comes along. Russia/Putin becomes our ally. XI becomes our ally. XI and Putin are also under attack by the deep state, which is rooted globally. So then you got April 8th at 11:09. POTUS never telegraphs his moves. Think logically. Why did POTUS announce his intention to pull out of Syria? Moves and counter moves. These people are stupid and sick. In parentheses. Q. Baited them successfully, I'll say. All right, so then we go to 4/8/18 on Sunday. We were there on Sunday as well. This is an anonymous. Why did POTUS announce his intention to pull out of Syria? To elicit actions by the cabal that will ultimately lead to fulfillment of the plan. Q comes back with this a couple hours later. 10:82. POTUS and JFK Jr. relationship plane crash 1999. HRC Senate 2000. The start. Enjoy the show. Q. So JFK Jr. and Trump were friends. Pretty good friends, right? If the candid news shots of them are to be believed, in fact, JFK Jr. predicted Trump's presidency. As frequently happened to Kennedy at his events, talk soon turned to whether he could envision himself running for president. Trying to deflect the presidential chatter, Kennedy noted that the Trump estate was far more glamorous than a Kennedy family compound a few miles away. I think you should be asking those questions of Donald, Kennedy said, according to Bremen. He'd clearly have the most extravagant winter White House, the then 35-year-old editor-in-chief said. So this potentially ties back into a theory I haven't really talked about here yet, but which I may talk about in the future. For those deep into the thing, you'll know what I'm talking about. Hint. Plus. But that's all I'm going to say about that subject for now, especially as I need to research more on that subject. As if researching isn't hard enough just due to the sheer scarcity of reliable material on the subject before I can coherently present anything on it. Needless to say, this is bigger than you can imagine and ties back to Trump destroying the cabal icons in the 1980s when he bought the land of the Trump Tower. I talked about that at the end of my Fifth Anon post, which you should really read if you haven't already. Okay, so then I went over all that in my last video. The letter here, Earth satellite program. All right. So we also had one on June 26. Coincidence, review image, location, nothing provided is random. SFO, JFK, A321, direct Q. Then reposted. So there's still some mention of JFK throughout the postings. So Q is saying that his passing marked the start of Hillary's career. Or in the case it isn't obvious, QAnon is linking JFK Jr.'s death when HRC's 2000 Senate run began. Prior to his mysterious plane crash, Jr. was a seasoned pilot in the prime of his life, and the crash was really out of the blue. Jr. was presumed to be a shoe-in for the New York State Senate race, though Snopes will tell you otherwise. Q is saying that his passing marked the start of Hillary's career, but this has long been speculated on. This isn't exactly new. But what is new is a CIA doc he attached linking it to this event. In short, the CIA has a whole network of satellites they control, which can also be used for guided missiles. But I'll be honest, that doesn't necessarily make sense of how they're bringing down so many planes and helicopters lately. They're not using shooting guided missiles at them as far as we know. Furthermore, JFK Jr. was a seasoned pilot, as are these military pilots who keep going down. It's not like they can't level out a plane or a helicopter manually if their GPS systems suddenly go haywire. It's not like Cessnas, the kind of small plane JFK Jr. was flying, are super complicated pieces of tech as far as planes go. The engine isn't going to shut off just because your GPS says you're, I don't know, in the middle of Mars now. So I've been confused about that point for a while. GPS or no, these guys can fly. They're smart and skilled and seasoned. That is, until I saw this post. All right, so we got a anonymous post here. If you want to know what happened to the Russian jetliner, read below. Experts from the Federal Bureau of Investigation report on the recovery of a Piper Saratoga aircraft of the John F. Kennedy Jr. Okay. Trying to make that a little bigger. One, no declassification until 7/22/2029. This is in deference to the wishes of a senior member of the Kennedy family. 3, also in deference to the order of the national government and respect to the certain foreign intelligence agencies having reciprocal agreements with the U.S. Okay, my eyes are bugging out. It's really small up there, but I'm doing my best, folks. 4, POTUS order and national security findings attached. 5, the recovered aircraft shows evidence of an explosive device having been glued or affixed within the tail luggage compartment. 6, device was apparently actuated by a barometric trigger, radio signals not ruled out. 7, tail of the aircraft was disassembled from the plane, making it front heavy. Dismembered from the plane, folks. Making it front heavy. 8, study of radar shows the plane fell in excess of 6,000 feet per minute up to the radar cutoff. 9, satellites images supplied by the National Reconnaissance Office record in outbursting flesh form from the aircraft just prior to it going into a perpendicular descent. Satellite images supplied by the National Reconnaissance record an outbursting flash from the aircraft just prior to it going into a perpendicular descent. 10, tail structure was dismembered just prior to descent. 11, recovery of the piece of luggage from beyond the flight path of the aircraft correlates with it being hurled out of the tail luggage compartment at outburst. of the tail. All right, sorry, folks. That's really small. It's going to hurt my eyes. All right, so number 11. Recovery of a piece of luggage from beyond the flight path of the aircraft correlates with it being hurtled out of the tail luggage compartment at outburst. 12. Preliminary examination of the aircraft shows residue of an explosive device the laboratory identifies as being a type used by a certain foreign intelligence agency. Refer to POTUS order and findings. 13. Study of air traffic control and other radio signals show no Mayday report from the aircraft, explained by rapidity of descent. So, rapidity of the descent. 14. Investigation and examination have been strictly compartmentalized. Investigation and examination has been strictly compartmentalized. So that is that's pretty wild. I mean, wild news, folks. That's okay. So this guy keeps going. We're going to keep reading. Oh, it was a bomb. He didn't just crash into the ocean because his instruments went haywire. It was a bomb that was possibly activated by a radio signal. A radio signal from a satellite. A clown-operated satellite, perhaps. A clown-operated satellite that the HRC had access to, perhaps. Really gets the noggin jogging. 1084 by Q. 1084, 1322 on April 8th. POTUS hunkering down today. April 8th at 1324. Situation room. Q. It's day 5, remember? POTUS schedule. Sunday, April 8th, 2018. Sunday, April 8th, 2018, 11. POTUS travel outside the White House secure area is not expected for the remainder of the day and tonight. That was a POTUS schedule for the Twitter account. 11 a.m. on April 8th. The anonymous, the situation room, officially known as a John F. Kennedy conference room, is a 5,525 square foot conference room and intelligence management center in the basement of the West Wing of the White House. It is run by the National Security Council staff for the use of the President of the United States and their advisors, including the National Security Advisor, the Homeland Security Advisor, and the White House Chief of Staff, to monitor and deal with crises at home and abroad, and to conduct secure communications with outside, often overseas, persons. The Situation Room is equipped with secure advanced communications equipment for the President to maintain command and control of U.S. forces around the world. All right, so 1085 in the series. This came at 1538 on April 8th. Post 1085. Got an article linked here for North Korea. After all these years, to MSN, positive media blast. Think. Now Syria, Iran, Russia flex through missile tech. We started asking coincidence long ago for a specific reason. Those awake can see for themselves. Conspiracy, have faith, trust the plan. Q. The article is behind a paywall, but he's right. After the initial 2-hour reaction where pundits on the likes of fake news networks, CNN, and others admitted Trump would go down as one of the greatest presidents ever, they all immediately got on the bandwagon of dismissal, hand-waving, and negative talk. And just now, right as I'm getting ready to publish this, Q drops this. So at 1086, this came on April 8th at 1538. Another article link after all these years, no MSN positive media blast. Think. Now Syria, Iran, Russia flexed through the missile tech. We started asking coincidence long ago for specific reason. Those awake can finally see for themselves. Conspiracy, have faith, trust a plan. And goes right into adding to that. For context, I reposted 3:40 p.m. No name in Syria. Timeline, purpose, who attended. No name panic. Health cover, fast, Q. No name in Syria, right? We know who that is. The guy that's, out of Arizona, can't vote right now. There we go. Was Mick Double on the plane that we were tracking last night. So 1087 talks about that. You have more than you know. Spiderweb. So we reposted no name in Syria, timeline, purpose, who attended, no name panic, health cover, fast. You have more than you know. Spiderweb. McCain has a long history of running in these kinds of ops. So you got Republican John McCain, Arizona, security trip to Syria in 2013 to meet with freedom fighters, former Al-Qaeda operative, ISIS Caliph, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, trained in Israel with American tax dollar, ISIS beheading videos, unidentified. So, real good group of people. Nice little photo op. Go back to Q Post 484 back in January 2018. All right, this came at 02:38 in the morning, January 7th, 484 in the timeline. Hussein, HRC, and many more must be terrified. Mahanjed talking. Where did all that money go? How many planes? Where did the planes land? Why were clowns / private contractors escorting? Why cash? Why offshore cash? Why wasn't Congress notified for approval? Why? Why weren't they notified for approval? That's a good question. Where did the bank wires originate from? Coincidence? All donations to the CF Clinton Foundation terminated post-defeat. Why did US and the UK obtain? And what did they obtain? US and UK obtain in exchange for all of that money? Where do a majority of the Rothschilds reside? Why is Hussein traveling the globe and visiting major financial institutions? 115 million? Who are the Muslim Brotherhood? Who is Awan? Who is Huma? Who is VJ? Who created ISIS? Who controlled ISIS? What was the purpose of ISIS? Who is MS-13? Who are known MS-13 members released after capture? Who controls MS-13? Who funds MS-13? Hard to swallow. Watch the news. Stages. I am a rebel commander. This is just all kinds of connections here. Above, you got John Kerry addressing to the Geneva II peace conferences in January of 14. Behind his shoulders, former U.S. ambassador to Syria, Robert Ford, chief organizer of the Syrian opposition delegation at Geneva. In the center, you got U.S. Ambassador Robert Ford in northern Syria in May of 2013. Last, with rebel Free Syrian Army Colonel Abdul Jabbar, who at the time was the head of the Western-backed and funded Aleppo Military Council. Right, that was that in the center. In the center here, Colonel Abdul Jabbar celebrating in August 2013. Last with ISIS Imar Abdul Jandal after their forces jointly capture a military airport. Another pick. Head in this guy's hand. Unbelievable. All right, so just a little update here, folks. That is the gifs of that. Lots of bad actors. All right. All right, so now we are look at a few different news things here, politics around the world. We got Trump disagrees with Putin's suggestion to interrogate Americans. President Donald Trump now disagrees with the proposal raised by his Russian counterpart to interrogate Americans in exchange for assistance to the FBI's Russia probe. The White House said on Thursday, another reversal in a week cleanup following a maligned summit with Vladimir Putin. Trump asked aide to invite Putin to Washington. Senate approves resolution warning Trump not to hand over. The Senate on Thursday approved a resolution warning President Trump not to let the Russian government question diplomats and other officials. Not long after the White House released a statement backpedaling on a proposal to allow Moscow to help interrogate U.S. citizens, such as former ambassadors and some others. Trump's circuit court nomination pulled over racially insensitive writing. So what's this? Circuit court nomination pulled over racially insensitive writing. The White House withdrew the nomination of the circuit court hopeful Ryan Bound on Thursday, moments before the nominee was to face his Senate confirmation vote after South Carolina Republican Senator Tim Scott raised concerns. Multiple sources told CNN that Scott made clear during the Senate launch Thursday that he couldn't vote for Bounds, and Florida Republican Senator Marco Rubio echoed the concerns. The concerns revolved around the content of his writings while at Stanford, and the fact that Bounds did not disclose the writings to a bipartisan committee of attorneys in Oregon that he had recommended him for the Ninth Circuit job. One source described there was then a jailbreak of Republican senators with concerns. Once it was clear, critics say the writings show an insensitivity to racial minorities. So they're calling it a kind of racially insensitive writing. Nielsen, foolish to think Russia isn't meddling in the elections. Trump rids the Fed, says he's not thrilled about the rate, rips the Fed. Trump rips the Federal Reserve, says he's not thrilled about the rate hikes. Trump rips the Fed. In a stinging and historically rare criticism, Donald Trump expressed frustration with the Federal Reserve and said the central bank could disrupt the economic recovery. President rarely intercede when it comes to the Fed, which sets the benchmark interest rate that flows through many types of consumer debt. Federal officials, including Chairman Jerome Powell, have raised interest twice this year and have pointed to two more before the end of 2018. Trump, in an interview with CNBC, said he does not approve, even though he said he put a very good man in at the Fed in Powell. I'm not thrilled, he told CNBC's Joe Kernan in an interview to air in Friday at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Because we go up, and every time you go up, they want to raise the rates again. I'm not happy about it, but at the same time, I'm letting them do what they feel is best. But I don't like all of this work that goes into doing what we're doing. Markets reacted to Trump's comments with stocks, the dollars, and treasury yields all falling. Fed's officials did not immediately respond for comment. Okay, that's enough on that article. So Republican Jason Lewis stands by his nasty comment, I guess. Rand Paul, Trump derangement syndrome has infiltrated the Senate. Nunes used political donations for NBA tickets and Vegas trips. I saw something like this. So almost 15,000 in tickets for the Boston Celtics. Winery tours and trips to Vegas, according to McClatchy article published Thursday. Nunes, who is the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, used money from his political donations for NBA tickets, Vegas trips. Melania Trump listens to students talk about online civility. Melania Trump listens to students talk. Melania has met with teens to talk about their best practices for being civil online. The First Lady spokeswoman tweeted Thursday that Mrs. Trump spoke with students at Microsoft Innovation and Policy Center in Washington. So, kind of cool. A couple more here. Sales jump for the book by ex-U.S. diplomat singled out by Russia. That's that McFall book. The Summit Crisis, Trump, Putin morph into one person on the Time cover. That's crazy. Look at that. So Time magazine did a Trump Putin photo and photoshopped, and it's another kind of twisted photo op, I guess. All right, we'll check the Donald J. Trump official Twitter 3 hours ago. Let me see here. Will the Dems and fake news ever learn? This is classic. Trump recognized Russian meddling many times. So they got a clip here of all the times that he said Russia. This is 54 seconds. Let's see here. I have to bring this in the official way, so I'll wrap this video up by doing this, and we'll watch these last two little videos because we are nearing the 30-minute mark. Okay, so give me 1 second here, folks. Web browser. Okay, I want to do this multi-view. Okay, hold on, folks.
I mean, we want very much to have a strong Russia, because a strong, competent, prosperous, stable Russia is, we think, in the interest of the world. I mean, we want very much to have a strong Russia, because a strong, competent, prosperous, stable Russia is, we think, in the interest of the world.
Okay, so you heard it there.
I mean, we want very much to have a strong Russia, because a strong, competent, prosperous, stable Russia is, we think, in the interest of the world.
All right, so now
other countries and other people. So as far as hacking, I think it was Russia, but I think we also get hacked by other countries and other people. And I can say that, you know, when we lost 22 million names and everything else that was hacked recently, they didn't make a big deal out of that. That was something that was extraordinary. That was probably China. We have much hacking going on. Well, I think it was Russia, and I think it could have been other people in other countries. Could have been a lot of people interfered. I think it was Russia, but I think it was probably other people and or countries. It was Russia, and I think it was probably others also.
Well, the Russians had no impact on our votes whatsoever, but
Certainly there was meddling, and probably there was meddling from other countries and maybe other individuals.
Well, there we have it. I mean, think about that. That's something that the mainstream's not wanting to repeat too much. Doesn't fit their narrative. They want to say the opposite, because that's what they're doing. That is unbelievable. That's existed. He has said it. He's been arguing and defending his, they were saying, if you remember, folks, Russia-Trump collusion, Russia-Trump collusion, Russia-Trump collusion. Now they just want him to admit that Russia did this. Wanted him to go all the way over there instead of trying to have good peace talks or just, but again, we don't want people meddling in our elections. I agree. If that happened, hopefully justice can be served. I'm not for that at all. I know lots of countries do it. Maybe Russia did it more than any of them, pushed a little harder than any of them. I'm not stupid. I understand that. But that's, you can't, cry over the spilt milk part of it. There's bigger fish to fry. So, all right, I'm Mike. This is a Patriot Hour. We are at the 30-minute mark. We're looking forward to possibly tomorrow. I'm pretty sure Scott in the studio and a special guest, Dustin from Oregon. And we're going to maybe go over some of the issues with the Bundy Ranch up there, the Oregon, where the people got pushed off the land. Some people got killed, murdered. Was it because of the uranium that's underneath the ground? The Russians, more Russia talk. So we will look into that. We'll see you guys back here. I might still do one here later on this evening. Look forward to getting something back. I got the studio fired up, so it's fired up. Anything comes out, you'll get your alerts. So again, please subscribe, ring the bell, toggle the switch on if you're going to ring the bell to alert your device in a manner that you want it to alert your device. Whether it's a phone, tablet, however, there's multiple ways to do that. So check that out. Check the description box, please. And down below, leave a comment, thumbs up, share the video on your social media sites. We really appreciate that. And if you're getting the knowledge in, passing it on is a blessing to those that you know. All right, have a great evening. God bless, Godspeed, and we'll see you back here real soon on the next Patriot Hour update video. Good evening.
What letter that is, Grover?
I think so.
What letter is this?